You're listening to Coffee Break Flight Instruction by MzeroA.com. Flight training tips in 15 minutes or less.
Hey everyone, Jason Schaffer here of MzeroA.com alongside a certified flight instructor extraordinaire, Mr. Larry Diamond, also known as Uncle Larry. This is Coffee Break Flight Instruction, flight training tips in 15 minutes or less. And today Larry's going to share some really exciting stuff. 5 free resources from the FAA. So Larry, I'm going to start that time so we keep ourselves honest. And you, my friend, have the floor. Take it away.
Okay, so since it is the holiday season, I'm also going to add +1 on my 5 free. So
Great.
it's going to be 5 free +1. The first one that I really like a lot, and I give to all my students, is a general aviation guide to weather. And it came out like July of 2007, I think. And it talks about the process. I love processes because it talks about how to pick up pre-flight. It talks about in-flight weather. And the really nice thing, besides it gives you other products that you can also use, it also tells you about the automated weather systems. I mean, I was talking about it this morning with my student. There is so much really wonderful links out there that I think they just get used to, like going on wonderground.com or weatherchannel.com, and they forget about the free stuff that's out there from the FAA and from NOAA. I mean, you're just like me. You like aviationweather.gov. I could do like an hour just on that with all the little things you can kind of play with. And we were talking about cyclones and how like low pressure system comes in. It really does explain that. It actually gives you a really nice weather analysis sheets, and it actually gets you a chance to like put all your information down, sit there and kind of collate it and start thinking up a plan. It's like today we did the same thing. We took the sheets. We saw that the winds were coming from 300. We have runway 24 here at Ann Arbor, and we have an airport that's really close, within about, it's probably about 24 miles northwest of Ann Arbor, and they have runway 300. So guess where we're going to go if their winds are coming from 300? So it talks about that. It talks about in-flight visibility. No one really talks about in-flight visibility. They don't say, well, you think there's going to be a 747 sitting out there. A 152 is really hard to find. And it kind of gives you some general knowledge, and that's really what it's all about. Get a foundation and then go from there. So that's number 1. It's actually a pretty little book. It actually has a little sock on it, and it's got a runway on it, and it's got grass, which I don't see anymore. So number 2 is the Aeronautical Chart User's Guide, and it's the 11th edition. And it's really easy to you can just take the sectional and you can look at there, but if you ever tried to look something up, you have to start folding. So what I do is I have the students actually pull up the guide on their iPad or on their computer and just have the chart out there, and they'll say, okay, what's this? So instead of folding it 14 different ways and 14 times, and I can never fold it well, it take me 29 years to figure out that it's really good that we have an iPad now and I don't have to fold things. And so what it does, it talks about VFR flight rule symbols, it talks about IFR, it talks about helicopter chart symbol. I actually use it all the time, and it's actually one of my favorite things, and actually I used it for IFR too when I was getting my double I. My instructor pointed to this thing, it looked like a vortex, and it was totally black. And he said, what's this? And I said, it looks like a dead VOR is what it looks like. And so I said, I have no clue. And I said, I go over these books. I got to have it. It took me about 2 hours to figure it out. But I use this, the Chart User's Guide, to find it. What it is a compulsory VOR point, because in certain places in Michigan, we don't have any ATC that's going to cover us. Like, I went up to Bad Axe, which is up in the thumb, if you kind of put your hand up like everybody in Michigan does. Up there, Cleveland, turn it around the other way. There you go. So it's up near your thumb. And so up there, our only ATC is someone sitting in Cleveland. So that's a far away. So once he says, I have no radar contact on you until you get up to about 3,000 feet. And so I got all this. There's a compulsory reporting point that I have to do. So it's got the flyways on there also. So it's really a fantastic resource for the students. Number 3 is called the Aviation Weather Services. I think it's like AC see if I can remember, 0045 Golf is really what it is. It's got a white cover, it's got some clouds on it, and it's really a fantastic resource. But it also has got a lot of pages to it. It's written by the FAA. I mean, they're not really very entertaining when they write their books, but it's got everything you, and actually it's an advisory circular that's become so big, and I use it all the time in order to help me kind of teach the students on how to understand about weather. So I think we're up to number 4, which is, okay, I mean, I know this is snoozers, but it helps. It's called the Art of Aeronautical Decision Making, ADM. Okay, we got SRM, now we got ADM, and so it talks about the 3P model, what I think is perceive, process, and perform. And it talks about errors in your aeronautical decision making. So we just don't jump into planes and we just don't make decisions just kind of willy-nilly. There's actually a thought process. And the one thing that you find in pilots, and I know Jason has seen it multiple times, is we as instructors teach you everything about the airplane systems and things like that, but we don't really teach you how to think. We all got really good brains or we won't be here. We won't be flying. So everybody's got common sense, but you got to think about, you know, your mind plays tricks on you. You got to kind of sit back, and this helps you understand about the aeronautical decision making. So that's number 4, and it comes in a white book, and it really helps you with your safety decisions. And it's all about flying efficiently and flying safely. Number 5 is for my instrument students, and it's all the instrument procedure manual, and it's kind of like gray, and it's like a handbook. I think it's about 296 pages, so it's better than chamomile tea or Ambien or anything like that, which shouldn't be taking Ambien anyway. But really, if you really want to go to sleep really fast, read about 50 pages. It'll definitely put you out. But it's a really fantastic resource, and because of me, it's free. And so the last thing I do, I always have everybody download the PTS. You can get all the PTS for either the private, the commercial, the instrument. So the one for, let's see, private is FAA, I think it's 808114 Bravo, I think is what it is. So I kind of look at it, and actually it's a fantastic resource. It tells you not only...
It's 2 o'clock.
It also, it not only gives you what the PTS is, thank you, but it also, it kind of tells you what the examiner is going to look like, but actually it's a great resource because these are the minimal standards. So I use that, but I also tell my students there's like, okay, if they say 200, it's going to be 100. Or if they say 200, it's going to be 50. If they say 200, it's going to actually be 0. Because those are the minimums. Those are not what you should be going for. So this helps me a lot in order to say this is where we're going to get to at the end. I know it looks like a lot at the very beginning, but if you can do all these things to the tolerances and better, you're going to be a much better pilot for it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And guys, all these resources that Larry mentioned are available underneath this video. So if you're on coffeebreakflightinstruction.com, if you're on MzeroA.com, you can grab those underneath. If you're watching this on YouTube or listening to it on iTunes, you go to either one of those URLs, coffeebreakflightinstruction.com or just MzeroA.com, and you can grab all links to all those resources. You don't have to be digging around, typing in the advisory circular names and all that sort of stuff, even though Larry's a freak and can memorize all those crazy numbers. I'll get you guys all the links so you can check all that stuff out. So Larry, I appreciate that. Just some really, really great resources. A lot of people don't realize the FAA has all these great free resources out there for you. Now, like Larry kind of mentioned, though, it's not like it is a beautiful work of art, these publications. They are rough around the edges. They are written by our government, after all. You know, it's kind of like reading a legal document sometimes, but the information in there is awesome. My favorite one that Larry mentioned is the Aeronautical Chart User Guide. I mean, mostly because it has so many pictures in it. That's why I really prefer that one. But that's the one I find myself using the most. I mean, trust me, thousands upon thousands of hours, I still could look at a sectional chart and go, oh, that's something new. You know, maybe I've memorized everything on the Florida sectional charts, but, you know, throw me out to a Detroit sectional chart, there might be something I've never seen before. So just different things like that, always looking it up, always learning. So guys, again, those links will be underneath the video on Coffee Break Flight Instruction or on MzeroA.com. So on behalf of myself, the extraordinaire Uncle Larry, guys, this is Coffee Break Flight Instruction, flight train tips in 15 minutes or less. Enjoy the rest of your day, and most importantly, remember that a good pilot is always learning. Have a great day, guys. See ya.